Hello everyone, my name is Joshua and this is the 158th video on my video journal series. Today's date is Thursday, the 16th of July 2026. How's everyone been? I've been pretty good, thank you. And today will be another Recollections from the City video. This will be number 2 in this sub-franchise of my overall video journal series. And today I was out with my friends, obviously. I mentioned, I think it was yesterday or the day before that I was going to go out with my friends. And it was a nice day out. It did sprinkle a little bit in the city. But something that I noticed was I went outside near Town Hall, along the um, intersection between George Street and I think it was, might have been Park Street. Near where Town Hall is, right? Around the intersection between where Town Hall and QVB is. And obviously, I heard some emergency vehicles. It was a fire truck, 2 fire trucks, in fact, pull up in front of Town Hall because there was like some alarm that went off. I don't know if there was a fire or anything. Hopefully there wasn't, but yeah, and obviously I had to wait. Obviously I couldn't cross because you have to allow emergency vehicles to go. So obviously, once the first fire truck went by, I waited, then I saw another one. Obviously waited. They parked right in front of like the entrance to Town Hall. And then I was about to cross because obviously could see no more fire trucks. Then this like bendy bus, obviously, because the light was still red for me, but it was green for cars. The bendy bus, like, was trying to get to the other side of the street, go forward, and then it got stuck behind the fire trucks, and then suddenly it was green light for pedestrians. And I was like, all right, how do I get around 2 massive fire trucks and a bendy bus, So I had to, like, walk all the way around that in order for me to cross the street, It's like everything started to, like, cave in all at once, It's like, something as simple as crossing a street in a city or any urban area can sometimes be a pain because of things like this. And obviously, you gotta wait for emergency vehicles. All right, I'm not complaining. It's an emergency. There's something more important. I can understand that, but like the bendy bus at the end just like killed me. Not just any regular bus, a bendy bus, which is like the longest that we have in the network. So it was challenging trying to like obviously go around that because like I just wanted to cross the street. Then all these things happened. Apart from that, the city was pretty busy today. Even for a Wednesday, it was pretty busy. And obviously everyone's like in the office and all that. It's the middle of the weekday. But it's just, yeah, things are busy. Everything's been, I guess, popping off. Yeah, I feel pretty exhausted today. Obviously, because I did a lot of like walking and running around. But obviously, I notice all the new buildings in the city, the progress on the metro. The city's constantly evolving and changing. Um, and same with like public transport as well. You see um, new modes of transport. Obviously, I talked about the metro, but sometimes you see those new electric buses, and I've been on them. They're pretty good. They're a little bit smaller than a conventional bus, though. It's more eco-friendly. Doesn't pollute CO2 wise. But I really wish we brought back trolley buses. If you didn't know, Sydney actually had a small trial of trolley buses back in the 50s. And I've known some old people who went on the trolley bus. There was one in King's Cross and one, I think, in Sans Souci, in like South Sydney. And obviously we had like a massive tramway network. But that's a story for another video. Yeah, trolley bus, doesn't require like heavy lithium batteries like electric buses. So it just requires like overhead wiring like a tram. And obviously a trolley bus will be the way to go, but they are expensive. And the one that they had in Wellington, New Zealand, they tore it up like nearly a decade ago because it was quote unquote too expensive than a regular bus. And obviously, the dedicated infrastructure and all that will be more expensive than a diesel or maybe an electric bus. But like, it's an iconic part of the city. Why did they get rid of the Wellington trolley bus. You know, Auckland had one up until like the 80s, but Wellington had theirs up until like 2017. You know, and obviously that's a little bit of a detour, but something I notice a lot: transport. Um, you know, obviously we still have the same trains. You know, I think the Tangaras are currently the oldest suburban trains on Sydney's train network. Then the oldest trains in like New South Wales would most probably be the XPTs, I believe, unless I um, might be mistaken because they withdrawn the K sets, and I highly doubt they're gonna like make a full comeback. So yeah, it was a sudden withdrawal, but what can you do? And yeah, obviously they're doing. I haven't noticed this in the city, but I've seen pictures online of the new orange Tangaras, the refurbished ones, and they look pretty good. Obviously, you still have the same old seats, which will eventually accumulate more dust and grime. But at least they're refurbishing them. You know, at least they're gonna add new bits of technology inside, which will make a lot more commutes bearable. But yeah, what else? Were there any train delays? Not really. I didn't see any train or bus delays or tram delays. The trams seem to be working fine in the city, which was good. Um, Ferries, I'm not sure. I didn't go on a ferry today. But since it was raining a bit, maybe they would have cancelled some services or suspended some, or maybe there were some delays. Um, because I know the Sydney to Manly ferry. I walked by Circular Quay and I saw the line to the Sydney to Manly ferry. It was pretty long. It's pretty much your like major connection to get to Manly, and that ferry's always packed. Um, and yeah, it's just I've been on that ferry, and it can get quite rough. The waters, so it's definitely an adventure. But I guess if you live in Manly, or if you have to commute to Manly, or if you have to travel between Manly and the city, uh, that ferry service being cancelled, requires you to take like a very long bus, and it's gonna be a nightmare. Anyway, what else in the city? Man, I'm trying to think of interesting things to talk about. Recollections from the city. Um, um, well, yeah. Fast food places. I mean, I went to Hungry Jack's today, the one along George Street. That was pretty packed. And obviously McDonald's. I've noticed the trays. Some people had trays, but interestingly, some people inside of McDonald's. I'm talking about the one opposite the event cinemas on George Street. Didn't have trays. Maybe because they pressed takeaway, but they wanted to eat in. Um, but yeah, obviously I noticed the trays. I have a great fascination with McDonald's trays. All right, I just like that sort of presentation where if you eat in, you have everything on a nice tray instead of like a bag. And obviously, I went to Hungry Jack's. It doesn't matter if you press eat in or take away. You still just get the bag. And I actually found a spot in Town Hall. There's like a dining section. I didn't eat inside the Hungry Jack's because it's busy, crowded, and there's like litter everywhere. Unfortunately, the staff do a really good job in like cleaning it up. It's just like customers, they just discard trash everywhere. Um, and I got a large Whopper with cheese meal. So that comes with a Whopper with cheese, self-explanatory. Large fries and a large drink, and I chose a sugar-free Coke, which came to around $17. I think the price of Hungry Jack's has gone up because I swear that exact same meal not too long ago was like $15. And obviously, I wouldn't spend me personally more than $20 on junk food, but that's like getting close, if you know what I mean. But it was nice. Don't get me wrong, it was a nice meal, but it was around the same price I paid for a large Whopper, like that exact item in New Zealand. In New Zealand, it was like New Zealand, it was $18, which $1 more expensive in New Zealand currency. That is. So if you convert it to AUD, it's most likely like $16. So it might actually be a little bit cheaper than the one in Australia. At least the Hungry Jacks I went to along George Street, and in New Zealand they still have unlimited drink refills. So they have that pro. So I'd rather go to Burger King in New Zealand than Hungry Jack's in Australia because obviously, for around the same price, you're getting the same thing, but unlimited drink refills. All right, and that sells me. All right, unlimited drink refills. Imagine the possibilities with that, and it's just Hungry Jacks. Please, if any executive is watching this, bring back the unlimited drink refills. Right, I don't care if I have to pay an extra $2 or $3 on my order. If I can get unlimited drink refills, that'll be a dream. Or charge like a drive-through and a dine-in price, so then people who dine in, who want an unlimited drink refill, will be able to pay that sort of difference, just as people in drive-through are not going to take advantage of that. Or maybe just just do something, all right? Just bring back the unlimited drink refills, please. Maybe they do have them. I don't know. I don't think when I mean unlimited drink refills, I mean the soda machine in the public vicinity. All right, that indicates to everyone this is unlimited. If you keep it behind the counter, I don't know. Like, I just feel like I'm gonna be like greedy fast. Hey, does this come with unlimited drink refills? So I gotta buy a new drink, if you know what I mean. Maybe they still do it. I don't know. I gotta do my research. When it comes to this, but yeah, put those soda machines in the public vicinity. All right, a shared, object of value. I'm getting really technical here, with my soda machines, but yeah, I'll just love for a soda machine to be out in the public, and obviously just spend the money, buy a large drink, and you can refill it. Or would you actually need to buy a large drink? You can just buy a small drink and you still get unlimited drink refills. So that's a cunning strategy. But obviously it's like $1 worth of sludge anyway. But you know, good things don't last forever. That's what I'm gonna say. And I've been looking around for movies. I went obviously inside of Event Cinema's George Street complex. And lately I've been looking at like movies and whatever. Nothing really been interesting me. Obviously there was Detective Conan. But apart from that, I might have to wait until next year before things you know interest me. There's a couple of interesting movies coming out next year. There's a new Ice Age movie coming out next year. Was it like Melting Point? I believe that's the title. And obviously the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I can't wait. Sonic 4 is releasing next year. And what else in the city? Oh yeah, there's still a lot of litter around the city. It makes me sad seeing all the litter, especially in sites like Town Hall and along George Street. You just see like little bits of litter, and it's relatively clean, but it just makes me sad. Makes me sad, and I guess that's why I just like going to parks and all that. Because obviously with parks you still see litter and all that, but it's less of a concrete jungle. Because I feel like going to the city too many times, you see those like big skyscrapers, and you just kind of get sick of it. Feel like an ant in the middle of middle of a diorama of like a city. You really feel dwarfed, and I like going to parks. I actually went for Roll Botanical Gardens while I was in the city, and I got to see all those like wide green spaces, and I really like going to that part of the city. Hyde Park Botanical Gardens, very valuable green space, and nice place to read a book. On a sunny day. Unfortunately, it wasn't too sunny today, but maybe when it's sunny, I'll go out there and read a book for a while. And I noticed that a small little thing is that some areas in the city, right, I pass by a lot, and they have like these escalators, but there's always like one that's out of order, and they never seem to fix it. So in Town Hall Square, in the dining section, there's like a Macpac store, and there's like an escalator that goes up to like a second level, and the left escalator, the one that actually goes up, has been out of order for like months, or like it's been out of order for a while, and the one that's going down is the one that's in order. And I'm like, how do you get up there? Apparently there's like stairs you can go up, but it's just inconvenient, I guess. you know and I'm like, why don't you just like, all right, because it's not working right, why don't you just allow people to walk it up like regular stairs? Or is there like a safety issue involved? I don't know. apparently that property is owned by like the church next door. So I don't know why they won't fix it. Obviously, I don't go up there anyway, but it's like when you walk by the exact same thing every week or so, and you just notice that it's still broken, still hasn't been fixed. Um, Even if you may not use that certain piece of infrastructure, it just like just adds to that extra sort of misery, being in this vast concrete jungle, and there's like a slight little thing broken or light twitching, or just some small thing that gets your OCD working. um, and yeah, like I said, it's just the same old, same old. Um, and there's yeah again still a lot of pigeons around town hall. I saw them today. So many pigeons, and I have a little bit of a phobia when it comes to birds. I'm not scared of birds themselves, but when they start like flying towards me, swooping in front of my face, I just often duck or like tuck my head in because just cover my head because I've been swarmed by birds before, and I'm not gonna let that happen again. And like some of them have gone like really like close up to me. In fact, today there was like a bird that was just like just zoomed right in front of my face, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like birds, it's just like it reminds you of e-bikes to an extent, e-bike drivers when they like swerve in front of you. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not used to this, I'm not used to it. And it's just why I guess I like nature park areas, because you sit in one spot for a while and absorb silence and just the sounds of nature, really. And yeah, is there anything else I want to talk about? Any books I want to close? I can most likely close all the things I've said. I can close all those books. Um, and yeah, that's been pretty much it. Obviously, you know, recollections from the city is just basically my experiences in the city. I'm always trying to find something interesting in this city, something that like piques my eye. Something I find interesting that I want to share with you. And obviously, I'm still working on my Sydney a work in progress project. Um, but I don't want to film when it's like raining outside because I don't want to like ruin my Canon R50 camera. Maybe like if it's indoors it'll be okay, but when it's outside and rain limits when I can do it. I can always use my regular mobile phone, but you won't get that same sort of quality. And just I always I want this to be long term. I want the quality to hold up after a while. And as for the rest of the week, obviously I still got my friend's birthday tomorrow. His 20th. Um, his birthday party, and then the day after that I'm doing something with a friend, and then maybe Sunday I have to like shuffle some things around. Um, but yes, obviously I'm trying to make the last of my free time because in around 2 weeks time I will be busy back at work, not job work, but like studying and all that. And obviously it'll limit the amount of things I can talk about, the amount of media. I will most probably have less time to consume such media. And obviously I am going to get around to Detective Conan. I'm sorry, just like this week, one thing's been after another unexpectedly, and I know that's just a recurring theme of my life, And enough about talking about my life. I'm going to say that I will get um, those Detective Conan reviews. And, obviously I've been saving the movies onto my computer. And there was one, I think it was like the latest movie that they released on the TMS YouTube channel that they forgot to add English subtitles. And I was waiting for them to re upload that specific Conan movie with English subtitles. But I ended up like scrolling, and I found like an older version of that movie posted on their YouTube channel with English subtitles. So I saved that one, and obviously it's good because now I'm caught up. I can review these forms of media, and yeah, I've been just trying to make the most of it. But yeah, I hopefully I'll do that within a few days. I'll see when I can watch it. But yeah, don't worry. I'll be keeping an eye out, and maybe I should read more books. You know, maybe I should talk about more about books on this channel. I know I got a lot of books in my room and all that. I could give a few reviews. I'm currently reading Mao by Rumiko Takahashi. It's an anime. It's an anime. Sorry. It's an anime. Yes, it recently released, but it's a manga. It originally started as a manga back in 2019. Still going today as of recording this. About a young girl who travels all the way back to Taisho era Japan. I've talked about it before on this channel. But yeah, kind of reminds me of Inuyasha. In some aspects, it is kind of like Inuyasha. But I should most probably continue reading that and give like my thoughts on the series. Same thing with Inuyasha. I've just got the manga to that, and the anime. I got some of the Blu-rays. And yeah, that's pretty much I guess my life update as well. And yeah, unless there's anything else I want to quickly mention about recollections from the city. Um, um, no, not really. Actually, one last thing. One last thing I want to talk about is that I actually went into Martin Place metro station today. Um, and obviously, whenever I go to Martin Place, it's usually just a regular old train station, not the metro side of things. And yeah, like I'm just amazed yet again how they built that station. It's so gorgeous and very grandiose. And yeah, I just like the metro, and obviously whenever I'm in the city, I always go along Hunter Street and see where they're building the new Hunter Street metro, which will go from Hunter Street in the city to Westmead and Sydney's West. Um, and there's this like mini window you can peek through, and you can see like the construction. It's like all the way down ground, and it'll be a few years before that's fully built. I think it's around like the 2030s, uh, like 2032, I think. And I actually went also nearby the future Piermont metro stop, which is near like Piermont Bridge. Um, it's like Hunter Street. It's like a pit, but with Hunter Street, you can actually like look in and you can see like the concrete pillars. As I'm recording this, I've noticed like concrete pillars, and yeah, like all these like excavation works. It's really just memorizing, and obviously hopefully, I'll be one of the first people to ride that metro line. I'll see if I can get my way in. But yeah, if that's all I have to talk about, if that's all the books close, then I guess I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, see you, take care. Catch you all tomorrow. I know I just said that, but I like doing it when I click. Catch you all tomorrow.